guys, it's Andy
And Tom?
from Wapeach.com. This week's Retro Cut is going to cover the Genesis game Alien Storm. First party Sega, copyright 1990 and 1991. 90 was when it was in the arcade, 91 was when it attacked all of the consoles. So in the beginning, you choose your character. I'm going to quickly show you all three. There's not much to any of them. Tom, I'll let you talk about the characters really quick.
There's a girl, a guy, and a robot, and unlike, I think, a lot of current...
So, did you just say robot?
Yes, a robot.
Robot.
But I mean, you can probably tell me a little bit better. There's not really a whole lot of difference between these characters.
Well, it's a little lame, because, like, this girl's secret weapon is that massive, you know, nuclear bomb going off, and I didn't even kill the fly guys all the way. Boo. And then the robot, what's this? He just explodes and goes and picks up his head again? Funny, but totally useless, and when you played it in the arcade and you were the last person to pick a character, you were always going to be him, pretty much. You know what I mean? Now, we'll play the game through on the red dude over here. He's got actually a more powerful gun. However, you'll notice it's a laser gun, so you have to be right next to your enemies. And almost all these guys, actually, you notice? There's no, like, projectile weapons. You're just smashing people.
Yeah, so it's basically beat 'em up, you know, with some shooter elements thrown in.
Exactly. So, it was released in the arcade first. The graphics in the arcade were, you know, far superior, and it was a better, you know, game in general, even with down to the music. Not that Tom made a good point. You couldn't really hear music in arcade games back in the day.
Yes, if only there was some way nowadays to play arcade games from back in the day on your computer. But alas, there's not.
Or Dreamcast. So anyway, you could have gotten this game on the Mega Drive or Genesis. Also, it was on the Master System, the Amiga, the Atari ST computer, the Commodore 64, the ZX Spectrum, and the Amstrad CPC. And it's also on a virtual console now, and it's also on PS3 and Xbox 360 as part of a mega collection.
Question: Is the virtual console part is it the arcade version or the Genesis version?
That's a really good question that I don't know the answer to.
Well, go ahead. I'm going to check, and you can keep talking about the game.
The Sega Mega Drive version was also released on Wii's console, so yeah, it's the Mega Drive version, it's not the arcade, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, why would you do that? You know, it's like, you have the power now to release the arcade version, that would probably be...
Yeah, probably licensing or some garbage of the cabinet company. So anyway, this is the second type of level you have in there. There's one of these in almost every level where you just kind of have a first-person perspective with chickens and monsters running around. Sometimes people, obviously you do not want to shit to people, but yeah, it was fun, but you can tell this is meant for the joystick. Playing it with the D-pad is really stiff and rugged, you know? So here's Mission 2, Expel the Aliens.
What are they in school?
So, yeah, exactly. Ha ha ha. Lame. So the enemies, again, they look the same all throughout. They do a little sprite color change, but there's really not much to keep it going. When you're a little kid, this game is fun. When you're in the arcade, you're playing it for 5 minutes, it's fun. But when you're doing a retro cut and you're playing it alone, like Andy was, it's not very fun.
Yeah, it looks incredibly repetitive.
Incredibly repetitive, despite the fact that there's 3 different types of levels. So we saw the first 2, but first there's also the boss section, so we're coming up on that right now. Once I beat this little guy with the skulls hanging out of him, and then the other little guy with the skulls also hanging out of him, we're going to be fighting a green monstery dude. And you remember how boss fights were back then? They just weren't forgiving at all. Like,
yeah, well, I mean, like, the arcade games are designed to, you know, if you get to a boss, you better get another quarter out, because you're probably going to die.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, right here, you know, I'm hitting him with my aerial assault, try to kill him pretty quickly, but when you do that, it uses up your energy bar. I'm out of energy. So I'm just attacking him, but what you gotta do is you gotta attack and move away. Attack and move away, because his green lasers shoot back in front, and there's really just no way to beat this guy without losing a crap ton of health. But what's that big wart on his nose? You notice that?
Yeah, I'm noticing a lot of stuff right now.
This is just a really, really weird level design, but you know, once I beat this, we'll launch into the last type of level, which is the running through a la Shinobi really, really fast, jumping over massive canyons. Look at this, look at this, look at this. Whoa!
That does the long jump?
That's a big bridge. Alright, guys. So, Alien Storm, check it out. Arcade, Wii console, PS3, and Xbox 360, all available now. Head over to wapeach.com. I just want to announce we're going to have our first Retro Cut feature. That is a 30-minute Retro Cut coming out soon, so keep an eye out for that. Thanks to everybody on Game Trailers who keeps checking us out. Take care.
Indeed. Come to the site.